Hi, my name is Kieran David, and today is actually going to be an interesting lesson on how to draw heads from different angles. If you like my content, please subscribe and like or support my channel by joining my Patreon page. All the links will be left at the bottom in the description box. If you would like to see how this animation turned out, please watch till the end. Then I'll teach you how to draw the front view of the head, quarter view, side view, three-quarter view, above view, and lastly underneath view. Then we are going to animate and test head to see how accurate the drawings are. The particular method I'll show you are practices I use to speed up my workflow when drawing heads for both animation and illustrating
forehead.
There is a small but important difference between illustrating frames for film and illustrating for children. For film, time is a great concern, so you need a character that is not overly complicated, but also not lacking in detail when you draw a huge amount of frames.
Front view.
Okay, so we are starting with the front view by drawing a circle. Circle will be our guide, followed by the center line through the middle, which will act as a mirror. At the bottom of the line, we'll indicate where our male character's chin will be. You want to draw a line at the bottom half of the circle for the eyes, and then make sure circle guides are placed on the middle of bottom line. Once you have created a small circle representing the eye, you want to create another large circle around the small circle representing the eyebrows. Now we draw the circles representing the ear that will be roughly around the same height as the eye circle and brow guides, making sure that both sides are equal on both sides of head. The circle guides on both sides of the face are also equal, including the eyebrow. Remembering the rules of symmetry, we are going to now draw a line on the right side moving down. At the bottom of the circle, in the center of face, we will bend inwards towards our chin line. We will simply draw over our circle guide at the top of head, then the same again for the circled ears. Now, to emphasize the roundness of the ear, we are now going to draw two lines in the middle of the ear, and we do this for both sides. Now onto my favorite part, the eyes. Now within the eye circle, draw a C shape on the left side above the center line and another reverse C shape on the other side. You want to make sure line thickness stands out like this. Okay, now the next step, we're going to draw a circle which is going to represent the pupil, and you can place this anywhere you want within the eye. I'm sure you have probably heard the phrase, the eyes are the windows to your soul, and one of the first things humans and animals look at are the eyes. Now the larger circle, we're going to create an eyebrow. So right at the top of the circle, we're going to draw a nice outline, and then we're going to go back just like this. Right at the bottom, the circle representing the face, we are now going to draw a nose. Now on the center line, what we're going to do is create a little dip, and on the end we're going to create a nostril with a little curve on the end. And we have to do this for both sides. on the center line, create a small half circle and another on the right. Create a straight line like this, and lastly draw a half circle on both sides to connect lines and complete our ellipse. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to give our male character a house party haircut. We start with a line at the top of the ear and we come down diagonally right to the bottom of the ear. And we make a circle like this just around the top of the head and connect to the other side. If you would like to see how this animation turned out, please watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe. Now, to help our hair stand out, we're going to get rid of the basic outline of the head and we're going to replace it with a box just like this. Now all that's left to do is to colour in the character, which I'm going to fast forward. And there we have it. That's how I draw the front of the head using the red guidelines. Now, to get the head to turn convincingly in our animation, we are going to start with creating a quarter head view.
That's what I'm talking about.
Some of the problems you may encounter is how to make the face proportions stay consistent and looking similar to the front of the head. Using what we learnt, I'm now going to show you how to apply these techniques to the quarter head view. It's very important if you're working in digital to use your onion skin technique by placing front of head guides on bottom layer and decreasing opacity. If you have not got a drawing tablet, you may consider using a light A4 board when using paper and pencil. Now, the first thing we want to do is move our mirror line slightly to the left, making sure line is the same height as previous line. Following circle guide, we simply draw over previous circle. Then we create another circle on the right whilst following our circle guide. As you may have noticed, you can see both halves of the circle are not the same size. This is to create the illusion of heads looking slightly horizontal. Now, on the left side, we'll make sure the ear circle is hidden slightly behind our face circle. We then follow our guide and draw the ear closest to our view on the right. We now draw eye circle like we did before, but now we will move slightly to the left side. Excellent. Now we have our base guide. This will make drawing the head so much easier. Want to create another layer in Photoshop and start with a horizontal line towards the bottom of the mirror line, like this. Want the jaw to finish just under the eye, like this. Now once again we follow our circle guide and draw a forehead which will meet our cheek line. Just underneath the right ear, we will draw a small line going down and curved line towards jawline. We follow our ear guides and go over our lines, remembering the right ear will be in front of the head and the left ear hidden slightly behind head. Now the fun parts. We draw a C shape on the left above the center line and a reverse C shape on the right, drawing within circle guide as shown. Now to finish off our head, we just draw the hairline and then we do the hair going up like this. We add a few more details to the eye to make the pupil look more rounded. Then following our guide, we now draw eyebrows same as before, but with a slight size difference. Now that's complete, we need to draw a nose where circle and mirror line meets. We draw two dots and a line that dips slightly and joins together. Then we simply draw a rounded shape around the circle dots to complete our nostrils. Now we want to create a look where the lips slightly twist as the head is rotating. So we create two half circles, a line through the middle, and a big half circle like this. We'll just quickly add in some ear details. Now for the lips, to look convincing to audience, we need to make sure the lips are placed anywhere touching the center line. Now it's just a matter of adding the final details. This part I'm just going to fast forward. Now, one of the great advantages of working in digital within Photoshop is when your proportions are slightly incorrect, you can go in and simply adjust your lines using the crop tool to make drawings seem more realistic. I personally enjoy creating traditional pencil and paper sketches and then drawing over details in Photoshop. In my case, I made the ear slightly too big and also readjusted the lips to be more central. Also, you may have noticed I created a line indicating the bridge of the nose when turning sideways. I'm always continually looking for new and better ways to present my ideas, and I think by keeping a record of my old work has definitely helped me understand what direction I'm taking my work. When you're creating drawings, it's perfectly normal to readjust certain body parts. Making small mistakes is all part of the art journey, but the most important thing is being able to have fun and grow as an artist. Please let me know in the comments section what topics you would like me to cover. Now back to the video. Brilliant. Now we have completed our quarter view. We need to make a head turn into a 3/4 view. So let's get started.
3/4 view.
Now, using the previous guide that we used for the quarter view, we now draw a circle starting from the center line. Now we draw a line slightly diagonal, and then we draw another line halfway down from the circle that connects to the chin. Remember, the more the head turns, the smaller our opposite facial features become. Now we get rid of our guide and we draw our center line through the middle, meeting our chin. We have to treat our circle as a 3D sphere, so we draw a slightly rounded center line to create a 3D rounded look. We draw one ear so center line meets in the middle of ear, then on the opposite side we will have a hidden ear behind head because of the horizontal angle. We draw a straight line going down just behind our ear and round it off nicely towards chin like this. Now we draw a small circle for the eyes on the left and another large circle on the right side of the face. Once again we draw a half circle for the eyebrows like this. If circles are drawn correctly, there should be a horizontal line through the middle. The back of the head is never perfectly round, so we create a straight edge thinking about the bone structure of a skull. To get a greater understanding of the head, it's always a good idea to practice drawing the skull so that you know how the human tissue surrounds the bone. Perfect. Now, as this is a 3/4 view, you see the edge of the face more, showing the shape of the skull. To erase our perfectly straight and rounded shapes on the edge and create a line that meets near the eyes, pushes out slightly for the cheekbone and then connects with our jawline like this. Okay, now on the left side we draw a C shape for the eye within our circle guide and a circle for the pupil. Now we draw a reverse C on the right side, making sure the eye closest to the camera is larger. We then draw a circle for the pupils, and you can also add a line above the eyelid for extra details, but this is entirely optional. Now, like before, we draw our eyebrows within our eyebrow guide. If drawn correctly, our eyebrows should be a different size. Now we simply draw around the edges of our guide like this, including our ear guide, and draw our hair over our hair guide, whilst trying to keep a general shape of the head like this. Now to draw our nose, we draw 2 dots on the bottom of our head guide in between eyes, which should be horizontal with a small dip connecting the nostrils. We draw a small circle on the outside, followed by the bridge of the nose, which ends underneath our eyes. Lastly, following our center line, we draw the lips roughly in the center. And draw simplistic details of 2 lines within our ear like this. Now, once again, I'm going to fast forward and then we'll move on to the side of the head. Excellent. Now we have completed our 3/4 view. We will move on to the side view of the head.
Side view.
For this example, you will need your original front view of the head and draw a separate circle guide that fits on the head like this. And then move circle onto the right side. Now we have our circle guide set up. We draw a straight line under the chin, under the nose, a line in between the eyes, the bottom and top of the ear, and lastly the top of the hair. The guidelines are green just to make it easier to identify our guides. The first thing we want to do is draw our chin line slightly underneath the circle. Then we create a guideline for the front of the face that curves towards our chin line. From our chin line, we curve upwards towards our eye line. We then draw a straight line to the top of the hairline, and lastly curve a semicircle towards the bottom of the hairline guide to create an ear. Now we create a circle guide for the eyes and a larger circle for the eyebrows. Make sure you leave a small gap between the circle and the front of the face. Now the tricky part, which is the nose, as it tends to stick out from the face from the side angle. We draw a flat triangle on the nose line, and the bridge of the nose ends just underneath the bottom of the ear. We will now add an extra line in between our lips so we know where to place our lips on our side view. Now we draw over our guide, starting with the eye with a circle and a semicircle for the pupils. Again, we draw the eyebrow following the guide. Then we want the lips to look more three-dimensional, so we create a small bump like this on our lip line. Now we want to create our hair, starting from the top of the ear to the top of the hair, and then a straight line like this. Then we want to keep the shape of the back of the head, so we make the hair bend starting from the top of the ear and finishing on the eye line in the center of the ear. Then we simply fill in our details like this. Notice when face is turned sideways, the front side of the face will become thin. However, overall size is the same as the front of the face if we was to include the back of the head. Now Now you may have spotted I made a mistake with one of the ears out of position on the right. This is a good example of how lines can improve look of character. The mistake is quite small, so I'll probably get away with it for a tutorial. However, a trained art director will definitely pick up on this mistake. So always use guides for a consistent workflow. Now that we've filled in the details of the side of the head, we can now get rid of the front view of the head. Now that our side view is complete, we're now going to draw the underneath view. For the next step, we are going to use 1-point perspective.
Low view.
For the low view points, we draw an upside down V shape in green and draw a circle that fits within our V-shaped perspective lines. Now we draw what I like to call a face mask by drawing a line at the top of the circle and then creating a straight line for the sides of the face past the bottom of the circle. The same on the other side and then connect with a curved line. We now delete the edges of our mask and create a curve following the circle. We also get rid of the curve in the middle and replace it with a straight line for the chin. Now the ears will be placed at the bottom of the head, as when the head looks up, the ears tilt downwards. We want our ears to start just above our jawline on both sides of the face. Draw a straight line through the center of the face and then a curved line on the top half of the face. Now, remembering the rules of symmetry, we draw a semicircle on both sides of the face, and this time we draw a small semicircle for the eyebrows. Now we need to work out where our nose and lips will be. So we create a small line roughly in line with the top half of the head and another line for the lips just above the ears. We create 2 dots on both halves of the face, followed by a small dip. We create a full rounded semicircle starting from the bottom of the nose to get the full roundness of our nose. Then with our last line, we create our lips, making them roughly around the same size as the nose above. Now we draw over our eye guide, and remembering the angle of the pupil, draw another circle slightly horizontal. Then to finish off, we draw our thin eyebrows just above the eye, following second guide above the eye. Now you're probably wondering, what the V shape is, so let me explain. So when the character's head tilts upwards, the top half of the head shrinks. This technique allows character's head to look more dynamic. Whilst creating the head, I made a few readjustments, moving the lips upwards so you can see more of the chin. On this part, I'm going to fast forward, but I would like to know what you think in the comments. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe as I have a lot of content coming your way. I know this is quite a long video, so thank you for your patience and let's move on to the final viewpoints.
High view.
Now for the upper head view, we create a V shape for our perspective lines, followed by a circle for our face. We draw our center line within the circle face guide. Then we create our face mask, which will be pointing downwards. So we make a bent line like this for the hairline guide. Starting from the chin, we draw a line towards the cheek and draw a straight line towards our hairline guide, and do the same on the right side. Everything pointing towards the perspective lines, such as the chin, will become smaller. We draw a horizontal line in the middle of our circle guide for our eyes. We draw a circle this time for the ears on the top half of the head, starting from our eye guide and finishing just below our hairline. This time we create a semicircle under our eyeline guide and another for the eyebrow, just above the line. Now we draw a nose which will look further away towards the bottom half of the face. We then draw a straight line for the chin. Now we simply draw over our lines within our circle, drawing the outline of our mask, and then drawing our eyes and eyebrows within circle. We draw small lips on the center line just below our nose. Then we create a simple box shape for the hair. Now we get rid of our guides and it's time to fill in our details. Now let's fast forward. made it to our final perspective drawing. So now I simply create an in-between shot and save all files as a PNG sequence in Photoshop.
Perfect.
And that is how you draw a head from any angle. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, share and comment, and I'll see you all in the next video.